London shock. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson meet for the first time after months of silence. Audience holds their breath. The fateful night. London, late November. The golden lights shine on Park Lane. The British Film Awards 2025 event is taking place at the Royal Albert Hall, a gathering of the top names of Hollywood and Europe. The guest list is kept secret, but the press speculates that tonight, Jamie Dornan will present the Best Actress award. What no one expected, the name on the envelope he will read, is Dakota Johnson. When the information was leaked, the British media exploded. After 9 months of silence, will Jamie Dakota face off? Daily Mail. Will this be a historic moment, or the biggest media explosion of the year? The Guardian. On social media, the hashtag Jamie and Dakota London climbed straight to the top of global trends in just a few hours. The stage lit up. At 9:05 p.m., Jamie Dornan appeared. He wore a classic black tuxedo with a white flower. His face was calm, but his eyes showed tension. The flashbulbs flashed. The entire audience held their breath. The host's voice rang out. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next host, Jamie Dornan." The audience stood up and applauded. He smiled, slowly walking up to the podium. From the stands, the camera panned to the guest seats. In the third row, Dakota Johnson sat quietly, her silver silk dress shimmering under the lights. Her face showed no emotion, only her sparkling eyes seemed to contain thousands of untold stories. First look. When Jamie began to speak, his voice was warm but a little shaky. "Cinema is where we find ourselves through stories, sometimes more real than life." For a moment, he looked down at the third row. His eyes met hers. 1 second, 2 seconds, the room was deathly silent. No applause, no whispers. Just two people who had loved each other, hurt each other, met each other, now meeting again in front of millions of live viewers. Jamie swallowed, trying to keep his voice calm. "And the award for Best Actress goes to..." He opened the envelope. A moment of silence fell. Then he looked up, smiling slightly, a smile that was a mixture of pride and pain. Dakota Johnson. The long silence. The room exploded. Cheers, camera flashes, cheers. Dakota sat motionless for a few seconds, then stood up. She bowed to the audience, holding her skirt gently as she walked onto the stage. The camera zoomed in. Their eyes met again, just a few feet apart. The unrepeatable moment. As Dakota stepped onto the podium, Jamie handed her the golden statuette. The moment seemed to last forever. She reached out to accept the award, her fingertips brushing his. The room fell silent. She smiled, a small, genuine smile. He sighed, mumbling something only she could hear. "Congratulations, Dakota." She replied, her voice hoarse. "Thank you, Jamie." For a few seconds, the cameras captured the two of them standing side by side, the spotlight shining on them, seemingly cut off from the world. The news sites called it the unrepeatable moment. The speech that silenced Hollywood. Dakota took the microphone, took a deep breath. "I used to think silence was the best way to keep the peace. But tonight, I realized, sometimes you need to say thank you, even to those who hurt you." The room fell silent. Jamie looked down, his eyes shining. "Thank you to those who believed in me, even when I fell. Thank you to those who walked out of my life, so I could learn to pick myself up. And thank you to the one who taught me that love isn't about holding on, it's about letting go." A round of applause. The camera panned to Jamie. He quickly wiped away tears and smiled. On Twitter, the comments exploded. "She just spoke to Jamie, no need to say her name." Best moment of the British Film Awards. They don't need to get back together. They just need to be together. The backstage atmosphere. After the ceremony, dozens of journalists were waiting backstage. Jamie walked out first. He said briefly, "I'm proud of her, really proud." Then he left, not accepting any more interviews. Half an hour later, Dakota walked out, still holding the golden statuette. A reporter asked, "Dakota, how does it feel to receive an award from Jamie Dornan himself?" She smiled and answered firmly, "Sometimes, fate arranges meetings not to reconnect, but to close them beautifully." That quote immediately appeared in every newspaper the next morning. Global fever. In less than 24 hours, the video Jamie Dakota, London reunion has reached more than 150 million views on YouTube. Fans everywhere shared. They don't need to love each other anymore, they just need to look at each other. This is no longer a movie, but the most beautiful reality Hollywood has ever created. Vogue UK wrote, "Their touch lasted 1.5 seconds, but it made millions believe in kindness after a breakup." Media experts called it a rare emotional effect in an era full of scandal and drama, when two people who were once symbols of love, now became symbols of maturity and forgiveness. Behind the scenes. An insider revealed that Jamie and Dakota had a private conversation in the VIP lounge right after the ceremony. No one else. No cameras. Just the two of them, 2 glasses of wine, and a long silence. Jamie spoke first. "I am sorry, for talking too much, for dragging you into the storm." Dakota shook her head. "No, thank you. Thanks to you, I've learned to be strong. And you are more sincere than ever." They smiled, a relieved smile. No tears, no promises. Just the peace of two people who have weathered the storm together, and understood that, sometimes, that's the real end of love. Chain reaction in the film industry. A series of Hollywood stars spoke up in praise. Nicole Kidman, "They showed us how to break up while still respecting each other." Tom Hiddleston, "No dialogue needed. They just needed eyes." Jamie's wife, Amelia Warner, also unexpectedly shared a single tweet. "Proud of you, and of the way you've dealt with your past." The world was stunned by this civilized response. No jealousy, no envy, just tolerance. People called it the most civilized moment in Hollywood in 2025. The following days, Dakota left London early the next morning. She did not speak to the press or post anything online. But paparazzi caught her at Heathrow Airport, holding the book letters of note, "Love." Meanwhile, Jamie flew back to Ireland. He wrote on Instagram, "Some stories don't need to end. Just be grateful." Over 5 million likes. The top comment came from Dakota Johnson's official account. "Thank you for having it." The moon symbol, as a final signal between the two, showing that they have forgotten the past, but still have deep respect for each other. In Hollywood, directors started talking about reuniting Jamie and Dakota for a new project. But both refused. "We had a story, it was perfect. No need to do it again," Dakota shared in an interview with LUK. Jamie agrees. "Sometimes the bravest thing is not to love again, but to know when to stop." That quote is etched on the cover of GQ magazine's December issue, below a photo of him standing in a misty Irish landscape, a symbol of a man who has overcome heartbreak and found peace. The last moment. 3 months later, at the Cinema Artists Gala in Los Angeles, Dakota was seen looking at Jamie from afar. She gently raised her glass, smiling. He nodded in response. Not a word. No reporters had time to take a picture. Just 2 eyes, peaceful, mature, closing a long chapter of Hollywood. The legacy of true love. Years later, when they spoke of each other, no one called them Christian Anna anymore. They were Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, 2 real people, with real love, real pain, and real forgiveness. Hollywood may have created hundreds of love stories, but very few of them resonated. Theirs was different because it ended not in scandal, but in respect. Critic David Ehrlich wrote on IndieWire, "The moment Jamie presented Dakota with an award will be remembered forever, not for love, but for kindness. That night in London will be remembered forever, not just as an award ceremony, but as a symbol of growing up after a breakup. Two people who had loved each other, who had lost each other, now stood on the same stage, facing each other not with tears, but with gratitude." As the stage lights dimmed, Jamie stepped out onto the hotel balcony, overlooking the city. He received a text message from Dakota's old number. "The silence is over. Thank you, for everything." He smiled, looking out at the hazy London. "No, thank you." And in that moment, Hollywood, with all its glitz and glamour, fell silent. Because sometimes, the loudest voice is the silence between two once sincere hearts.